Did you know? High-tech architecture, born in the late 1960s, blended engineering and design, showcasing exposed structures, lightweight materials, and cutting-edge technology. Initially associated with industrial buildings and corporate clients, it aimed to celebrate the mechanics of construction. One of the most iconic, yet controversial examples of this movement is the Centre Pompidou in Paris. Once criticized as an eyesore, it has since evolved into a beloved cultural landmark. In this documentary, we explore how the Pompidou Center redefined architectural innovation and public space. In the 1950s, Paris lost its status as the undisputed capital of art. The city struggled to embrace contemporary art, with only a few galleries dedicated to it. In contrast, New York emerged as the new art hub, showcasing avant-garde movements like Jackson Pollock's action painting and the pop art of Andy Warhol and Roy Lichtenstein, who provocatively engaged with the symbols of consumer society, transforming the modern art landscape. Minister of Culture André Malraux sought to preserve France's artistic prestige by proposing the Museum of the 20th Century, asking architect Le Corbusier to revive a spiraling design from the 1930s. Malraux envisioned the museum at Paris's city gates, but Le Corbusier preferred a central location and controversially suggested demolishing the Grand Palais. After Le Corbusier's death in 1965, the project died as well. In 1969, Georges Pompidou was elected president of France. Notable for his enthusiasm for modern art, a rarity among politicians at the time, he remained committed to establishing a museum in the city center. He aimed to create a cultural hub in Paris that integrated a museum with spaces for music, cinema, and literature, believing that an art-friendly society could drive modernization. The events of May '68 in Paris, involving student demonstrations and worker strikes, inspired the cultural and social program of the Pompidou Center, advocating for new spatial practices and artistic expressions that could bring social and political change. Artistic actions, such as creating psychogeographic maps of Paris and provocative slogans, reflected the desire to reimagine the city. While the events did not achieve major political success, they had a lasting cultural and social impact. Georges Pompidou, inspired by the events of May '68, sought to transform the Plateau Beaubourg, a derelict site in the Marais district of Paris, into a cultural hub. Building on Charles de Gaulle's earlier plan for a public library, Pompidou expanded the vision to include a center for cultural production. His goal was to create an anti-monumental, accessible facility that invited the public to engage with contemporary art. In 1969, Pompidou launched an international design competition, receiving nearly 700 entries to realize his ambitious project. Renowned architects like Oscar Niemeyer and Philip Johnson served on the jury for the design competition, but the greatest influence came from jury president Jean Prouvé, known for his research into industrial habitats. The competition was a huge success, attracting 681 diverse submissions from around the world. Out of 680 entries, the jury quickly gravitated toward Project 493 for its simplicity and radical idea of only building on half of the available plot, leaving the other half as an urban piazza. The project proposed a high-rise building, exceeding Paris's 25-meter construction limit, offering massive, flexible, open-plan spaces with technical infrastructure placed on the exterior. After 3 days of deliberation, on July 15, 1971, Project 493 was selected with almost unanimous support, receiving 8 out of 9 votes. The winners of France's largest architecture competition were 2 relatively unknown architects, 33-year-old Italian Renzo Piano and 35-year-old Brit Richard Rogers, both drawn to modern construction techniques. Their design for the Centre Pompidou was inspired by Archigram's utopian visions and Cedric Price's Fun Palace. Despite low expectations, their bold and unconventional ideas won them the competition. From the initial sketch, it was clear how bold their proposal was. They placed significant focus on the plaza in front of the building, designing it with a slight slope towards the structure to seamlessly integrate the plaza and building into a cohesive outdoor urban space. The public library spans the first 3 floors, with the 3rd floor shared by both the library and the museum. The museum then extends to the 4th and 5th floors, where terraces allow visitors to step outside and reconnect with the urban environment. From the top floor, there's a stunning view of Paris, including a clear sight of the Eiffel Tower. The building is highly flexible and designed for easy dismantling and replacement of mechanical systems. Its open structure, supported by large trusses spanning nearly 50 feet, revolutionized construction standards. The use of prefabricated cast steel is notable, and mechanical services, along with escalators, are located on the exterior. The building features a diagrid at one end, defining its shorter side. The east elevation houses all the mechanical services, which are color-coded. Yellow indicates electrical, blue represents heating and ventilation, and green signifies plumbing. The goal is not only to make the services clear, but to emphasize the importance of the coding itself, as this building functions as a network of information, languages, signs, and symbols. The Pompidou Center stands as a testament to Georges Pompidou's vision of a modern France, where culture and community intertwine. At the heart of this transformation were the innovative ideas of Renzo Piano and Richard Rogers, whose radical design reimagined the Beaubourg wasteland as a vibrant cultural landmark. Their work not only redefined architectural norms, but also symbolized a new era of urban engagement, reflecting the dynamic interplay between architecture and society. As noted in the Beaubourg effect, the Centre Pompidou is a living embodiment of the cultural aspirations of its time, continually inviting the public to engage with art, ideas, and each other.